Affinity Xtra, be extra.
Me and my husband have been officially together for 19 years. So we got married 6 months after meeting.
6 months?
Yeah.
Hold the phone. Hold it. Turn the music. Turn 3, 2, 1. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another 7 p.m. sharp show. I am your host, of course, Blue, and I'm joined with my lovely new, she's not taking the job yet, but she will, my lovely sister, and she goes by the name, actually introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Rosemary, and I'm Junior's stepsister Jermaine.
She called me
Sorry.
Junior. You see that? Government names, you know.
I know, sorry.
We're not even going to edit that, you know. We're not even edit
Keep it in.
That's on YouTube for all to see and for a constant reminder.
Jermaine's stepsister.
See,
You got that?
We've got it. But that's almost as bad as the show when I was calling Stephen Aaron.
I remember that. And I said to you, was it by accident?
Well, it was, but yours wasn't. Because you should know better. There's an age difference, you should know.
Sorry.
My birthday's soon anyway, I'm just pointing it out.
Sorry.
But guys, welcome to the show. You see, we can't even edit that out. We're not going to do that out.
Oh, please.
No, we're keeping it. We are keeping it. But guys, thank you for tuning in and joining us today. So, of course, as you know, we're here all about relationships and all things. And now, Rose, quick conversation for the viewers to know who you are.
So.
You have had a show yourself.
Yeah.
And that was all about, well, what was all that about then?
Well, it was the Rosemary Show, and it gave people an opportunity to just share their testimony about God's goodness. And I wanted people that tuned in to know that our God is a living God, and He's active. He was active way back then, and He's still active now. He's still able to heal, deliver. So that's what my show was about. That was about last year, this time, I think.
It was?
That we were running the show.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's still a couple to come.
Still available on YouTube as well.
Yeah, still available.
So guys, so don't feel like you can't see it. She's still there. She's gonna be in 2 places now because you're gonna be there and here as well. So yeah, making that face. She's gonna be busy. She's here with me too as well. But what was the inspiration behind you putting them shows together?
When I was at Bible college,
Okay.
we all had an opportunity to share our testimonies, and sitting there listening to some of those amazing testimonies, I thought, gosh, we're in a small group of 5, 6 people. No one's going to ever hear these testimonies.
Yeah.
So if I can get this show together, that's going to give people a platform to basically share their testimonies. So, and you know, like back in the days, we used to have testimony service.
Well, yeah, they don't do it anymore.
Nah.
Yeah.
So I was trying to bring it back.
Okay.
Modern style.
And so I saw there's a couple in there that I saw, particularly about relationships, because obviously that's my bag of tricks. And I was quite interested to see, like, you had young couples on there who are just married or thinking about married.
Yeah.
Did it ever make you reflect about when you was in those places yourself?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay.
Definitely. For me, I've been married, 20 years this year.
Okay.
And so it brought me back to some exciting times,
Yeah.
planning, stressful times as well,
Yeah.
planning the wedding. But the particular guest that I think you're on about, they were quite relaxed.
Yeah, they were.
You know, and they looked so happy and
Yeah.
together, and it just reminded me, yeah.
You know what I used to say? That new couples used to get on my nerves, you know.
Why?
You know what it is? It's the, and I don't disrespect any new couple out there, so do you think, amen. But with new couples, I used to look at it like thinking, because it's fresh, it's exciting,
Yeah.
it's new, and it's like, we're going to change the world in our marriage. And you're
Yeah.
like, you have no
I know.
idea
I
of the magnitude of work you've got to put into making this happen.
Yeah.
I remember speaking to a couple who were engaged, and they were kind of talking about when they're married, they're going to put on sessions because they want to mentor other young people and mentor other marriage couples and stuff. And I was like, actually, give yourself some time first, and then when you're in a place when you're happy and you kind of understand each other well enough, then do it. And they were like, we know each other already. I'm like, dude, you don't.
No.
I was like, I thought I knew my wife, and then we had a child.
Yeah.
I was like, who are you? like who is this woman? Like, when did this person creep into my house? And then the second child, you're like, Lord, who is this woman again? So I've always said to people, like, for me as a guy watching my wife, women change as soon as children come in.
Absolutely.
And I know I got a show coming up. We've got a show coming up with some guys. We're going to talk about their experience of fatherhood and parenting. But there was times of conversations where we were like, hold on, how come I got kicked out of the house? Like, I'm in the house, but I'm not present because these two boys have taken over the. I said, watch when they're 18, they're coming out of the house.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for people to kind of get all excited and talk about what they're going to do, I got annoyed because I was like, I remember being in that position when I was engaged, but reality, you're like, nah, it just doesn't sit with me anymore.
How long?
Still like him.
How long did it take you before you started to do your show and give relationship advice from marriage to then?
So, interview me now.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay, no.
Rewind. You can ask me questions. Rewind.
So I was married for, how long was me and Sam married for? So me and Sam were married for at least 7 years before a brother was born. And that was literally out of prayer. One time we was at church and a word came back that I'd heard years ago. Me and M saying the words a brother. And someone said, what does that mean? And I said, in my heart, I believe it's going forward. And then when I found the Portuguese version of a brava, it meant going backwards. I thought that was interesting. Two words are kind of conflicting. So that's where brava was born. But we didn't do it until our first child because, we had some stories, testimonies. What? I had a book to write. I was ready to contact Denzel to say you might have to perform me in these films, man.
Maybe I should have you both on the show and I ask you questions, both of you.
See, now this is someone asked me before, why isn't someone here? And Sam's very Sam's quite camera shy, so you wouldn't believe that because she was an artist way before we were together. And she was singing up and down, but so she's very camera shy. She's not very good at these kind of things, but we are getting on there. So we have discussed and said, Sam, we need to get you on these shows, and she's like. Eventually. So
it'd be good to have her.
Keep praying for her. Keep praying for her.
Yeah.
But so you've been married. So you said you've been together for 20 years.
20 years. Well, 20 years in September.
So that's 20 years married in September.
Yeah.
So that's quite a long time then.
Yeah.
That's 2 life sentences in prison.
Huh?
Well, if you went to prison, you get 10 years, isn't it? So to double that. And the thing is, I was thinking about this last night. Me and Sam have been together officially for 17 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
17 years. Like, yeah, man.
Wow. Me and my husband have been officially together for 19 years. So we got married 6 months after meeting.
6 months?
Yeah.
Hold the phone. Turn the music, turn down everything. 6 months, you got to explain that one. So you were together for 6 months.
Yeah.
And decided this is the person I want to be with.
I checked with God.
Okay.
He said yes. And I'm getting on in age, he's getting on in age. So I thought, God, you've said yes to me, you've said yes to him, so we're going to have to work out the rest in marriage. And that's what we did. What
does that sound like then? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who's been married, it didn't work, but they would say, I checked in with God and God said and then nothing happened from it. So how did that feel for you to kind of hear from God saying, go for it?
I think, first of all, even if God says yes, he's still got to still work at it.
Absolutely.
You can't just sit back and expect it to work.
Yeah.
My assurance was God said yes. So if we'd have an argument, I'm like, or I felt like throwing in a towel.
Yeah.
I can't throw back something that God's given me. That's how I saw it. Because everything that God gives us is perfect.
This is true.
So God doesn't give us rubbish. So I'd be throwing away something wonderful, and I knew that. So I stood on the assurance that God said, this is your husband. Okay. And I still stand on that now. So through good times and bad, this is my husband. God doesn't get it wrong. We get it wrong.
Now, did God have to speak to your husband as well and say, this is your wife? Or did he just go off the promise of God spoke to you, so it must be cool?
No. Before I said anything to him, he went around telling his friends, I think I found my wife. I found my wife. Prior to meeting me, he told everybody he wasn't going to get married.
Okay.
I'm special.
You changed him
special.
up. Okay, brother. Wow. You see, 6 months. I mean, nowadays people don't even want to commit unless it's been a 3-year relationship and they want to know like what's happening.
Yeah.
So to kind of be like someone for 6, were people saying to you like, be careful?
Absolutely.
Because 6 months.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, I've got parking tickets longer than that. So for 6 months, and then you're like, actually, this is I'm getting married.
Yeah.
Was you? How was you? Was you not nervous as well?
I was, but I stood on God's word. He said, "This is my husband."
Oh, okay.
People were saying, "Gosh, you guys need to slow down."
Yeah.
But he was pushing it more than me.
Wow.
He was like, "No, I don't want to wait because if I wait, I might lose you."
Fair play to him.
I'm special.
You see that 6 months, man. Like, there's times when I'm saying like, God, I don't know if this is the right one for me still. Like, nah, I'm joking. I don't ever say that about my wife. But there are times though when we get into arguments, and a bit like what you said about you have to work at it. There have been times when we have arguments, and I'm like, I think God's telling me it's time to move on. You know, it's for me to go and live in another part of the world. Yeah. I know he's not. That's devil lying. Yeah. But sometimes you feel that way in relationships. Let's be honest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, that practice we used to call it, where you kind of drive in the car and you don't talk to each other, and you get to church and everyone's smiling, you're high-fiving, and you're like, oh, you still look so great and cute together. And you're like,
oh, my husband doesn't do that.
Really?
No, he won't pretend.
Oh,
he won't
okay.
fake. So I'll carry on. Hi, everyone. God bless you. Greetings. And his face is fixed.
Okay.
So he's not going to pretend. He doesn't pretend with no one.
Really? So if he's vexed with you on the journey down,
oh my God,
they need to know that
everybody in service is going to know about it. He ain't going to hide it.
I can't do that, man. That's people all up in your business.
Oh no. And I'm telling him, you can't do that. Nope, he's not having it. He ain't faking it.
Nah, you got to fake it till you make it sometimes, or fake it till you're all right. Okay, all right. So we've got more to come now, guys. But we're going to go to a track first. You know me, I like to play a track. And today, I was going to play someone you've never heard of, apparently, which is Mali Music.
Nope.
No, not ringing any bells.
Nope.
You're like Mali Music. Mali Music has been around for a while. This is one of his older tracks. Originally, I wanted to play a Governor B.
Yeah, I know Governor B.
You know Governor B. Should we play a Governor B track then?
Yeah, go on then. I know that.
We did. And what one of your favourite Governor B tracks?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I probably haven't got it. I've only got this one with me today.
Oh,
which is Governor B with Wretch Free 2. Although,
what's that Bible one?
Bibles.
Yeah, because I remember the kids used to always like that one.
That's Simply Andy. That's not Governor B.
Isn't it?
I think we're going to have to go to a track, guys.
Oh,
we'll be back after this.
He's not going to cut this out either.
Sometimes it feels like I don't belong here. It's been a long year. Hands are made for work and then we get them dirty. I've been noticing the traps cause they set them early. It's an uphill struggle and I was never worthy. I don't know why God trusted me with this life. It's like my imperfections, they've been disguised. Devil on my shoulder and he's hoping that my gift dies. We've been praying for angels over this side. I feel for this generation and pray for wisdom. Cause we've been battling failures and addictions. Racism, kids rotting in prison. Trapped in a system, it's like we've lost vision. And I ain't got the answers. Feels like a cop-out when I say I pray about it, cause times are getting harder, but I feel a sense of comfort when I'm talking to the Father. And when I'm out of words, I don't complain, I'd rather say this. Blessings fall on me, blessings fall on me. Blessings fall on me, let good things fall on me. I need you to. Blessings fall on me, blessings fall on me. On me. Blessings fall on me, let good things fall on me. I do this to affect change. That's why I picked up a pen and pad in the first place. Helps me on my worst days. And I've learned that people relate to pain. Guess everyone wants to know that they're not alone in the rain. And I get that. We're all praying for a jetpack so we can step back and fly over the setbacks. I'm on my Sam Cooke. It's been a long time coming, but a change is gonna come and I rep that. But it's tough when I look into my mother's eyes. To summarize, she ain't been the same since her husband died. Truth is, neither have I or my brother like. Soon enough, see him on the other side. Till then, we gotta look at the positives. There's power in the one that we're following. I guess that's enough. And mom, of course, I'll give you my love. But there's nothing like the love from above. So mom, say this. Blessings fall on me. Blessings fall on me. Blessings fall down on me. Blessings fall on me. Let good things fall on me. Let good things fall down on me. Blessings fall on me. Blessings fall on me. Fall down on me. Blessings fall on me. Good things fall on me. Fall down on me. Yeah. Too blessed to ever stress, I guess. Yeah. Too
blessed to ever stress, I guess. My mother done more praying for me than she done for herself. And if she kept the receipts, I would owe her the world. And I'm blessed, I see her power and her strength in my girl. Guess the apple wasn't far from the tree when it fell. And we plant seeds, hoping that the fruit has the beauty of palm trees. Hoping that their drive ain't determined by car keys. Hoping that their sight sees beyond what they can't see. Hope they know it's real when they feel what they can't reach. Counting my blessings, I'm reaching higher numbers. Turn my L's into lessons, that's how I'm finding comfort. The Lord sees my halo cause he's in my circumference. Stop preying my jewelry and trying to fire judgment when the blessings fall on me. Blessings fall down on me. Blessings fall 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 on me.
Yes, that was Governor B. Blessings fall on me. I like that tune actually.
It's Kingdom Skank.
We've discovered that it is so we've discovered now, guys,
and it does
that
say
it's
Bibles in
Kingdom
there.
Skank. It does say Bibles in
go.
there, but the way what you refer to made it sound more like simply Andy's Bibles.
I don't even know who that is.
It's a very old song. I think it's an extremely old song. That's got to be at least in 2000. And if you guys are listening to that one, then enjoy. But yes, guys, you are listening to me, Blue and Rose. You go by Rosie though, don't you?
Yeah, Rose.
Okay, and why Rosie?
No, not Rosie. Rose.
Oh, Rose.
Yeah.
I thought you said Rosie earlier.
No. Rosemary.
Because I was going to say that's like a rosemary.
Yeah.
Like the seasoning. Okay, if you like that one, okay. But if you've just tuned in, hi guys, this is 7 Sharp with me, Blue and Rosemary, and today we're just vibing. We're introducing ourselves. If you've just jumped on, welcome. We have talked a bit about Rose's show where she gets people to talk about their experiences and their journeys and stuff like that. And hopefully she's going to be a regular feature on the show with us. Even though she keeps rolling her eyes, she will be a regular person on here because we've edited it, so she has to do that now. But yeah, so earlier we was talking about being married you've been married for 20 years, and it was 6 months you met your partner, and then obviously that's the period of time. Now we've talked before. You've been married. Have you been married prior to that one? No. I
had children before, so I've got 6 children altogether.
Okay, 6 children. Jesus.
And 3 grandchildren.
Amazing children, by the way. What's it like to have so many children? Because I'm going to be honest with you, I've got 2. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of work, and that was enough for me to say, yeah, we're finished there. Like we're not making it. Because people, I think in church, when it comes to children, there's a lot of pressure. So and hopefully you guys can relate to this one in your relationship. So if you're dating somebody, a lot of people in the church are like, when you gonna get married?
Yeah.
When you gonna get this one? Then you get married. When you gonna have children? When you gonna have picnic? Then you have a child. When you gonna have more children? When you gonna have a girl? And I'm like, man, I feel like you should put part of the work in then if you're gonna keep asking me all these expectations. So how was your experience within the church and having a family?
I think because I had 5 children before I met my husband.
Okay.
And he didn't have any.
Yeah.
So the 6th one was
together, of course,
for him.
Yeah.
My daughter Abigail. So in regards to us dating, I think it was difficult in one sense because he didn't just have to get to know me; he had to get to know the children as well, 5 children as well. And he done for somebody that didn't have children and has no sisters. So I had 4 girls, 1 boy. He done pretty good. Pretty good, and they do see him as a father. And if you spoke to any of them, they will say, he's a good dad.
So where did you? At what point was you like, okay, I'm comfortable for him to see my children? Because I'm sure there's a lot of women out there who are listening, who I've got children and about to go into relationships, but that's the area where they worry about.
Yeah.
Because I know that I've mentored some couples before, and in their relationship, blended families, the hardest part sometimes has been where they say, I'm struggling to give authority to my partner, whether it's my wife or husband, to discipline our children.
Yeah.
And then there's usually that conflict of those are your kids.
Yeah.
And so there's no ownership, and then that kind of almost builds a wedge in the relationship. How did you guys tackle areas like that?
First of all, I spoke to the kids. I sat them down by myself, me and the kids, we spoke. And I was very open with them where I was at. And it was, by then we were really serious within that 6 months, serious and talking about marriage. So I had to bring the kids into it so that to let them know. My oldest one was, I think she was about 11 at the time or 12. So I had to bring them into this, put them in the picture, and they were very receptive. And then we had another meeting with him, with my husband in, sitting with the kids and talking to them. And I think because we got them involved, it made things easier.
Okay. So a bit of ownership for the family.
Yeah.
Because there's a... Sorry, I have to adjust my chair. I told you after a while, these chairs feel like a bit of work. But so I mean, because I'm looking at it from my perspective and thinking, okay, cool. I'll get nervous if, like, me and my wife talked before. You know that fantasy conversation. Yeah. If we went together, and would you remarry? And I'm like, if we went together, you could remarry, but then I'd like to see my children, because there's that kind of thing of I'm their dad, they can't have another guy there. Yeah. And so then Sam's like, no, like if we're moving on, then that's just how relationships goes. So it's interesting when you're talking, because my brother, he's blended family as well. I know he wouldn't mind. Yeah. And sometimes we talk on that journey as well, because if you're not used to something like that, then sometimes you're like, how does that feel? You know what I mean? But 6 children, I want to know on that one as well. So the youngest was 11 when you were together.
The oldest
was 11.
The youngest would have been 3.
So that's a lot of work. That's
for
5
him, without no children. Yeah.
So it was like a shock to him.
Well, yeah. But he handled it really well. I remembered him taking them shopping. Now, I used to go to like Aldi's and that.
Yeah, I still do.
Shops. They took him to the expensive shops and took up, I said, go with my husband. I think it was my oldest daughter. I said, go with my husband shopping and tell him what we normally have. So she went and got all the name brand stuff and things that we wouldn't normally have.
When you say expensive shop, what shop's that?
I think, well, when I say expensive, it wasn't expensive. It was expensive to us because I was a single parent in Aldi's. So things like Asda and Tesco's.
Wow, okay.
And because of the distance it was from my house, I couldn't drive there. So we went to the local shop. But I think it was more to the point where they were buying, I wouldn't buy Kellogg's cornflakes and Kellogg brands, but they picked up all these branded stuff and brought it home, and he's chuffed with the shopping, and I'm like, whoa, how much did that come up to? And the kids are smirking because they know they tricked him.
We got him. We got the real brands, not that Aldi brand Kellogg's.
There was nothing wrong with the Aldi brand.
There is, man. My you know, I love my mum, but she used to do stuff like put the Kellogg's, not Kellogg's. She used to have the Kellogg's box, and put the Asda brand in the Kellogg's box. To try and fall up your head thinking, Kellogg's don't taste like this.
You can taste the difference.
Yeah, you're like, this tastes like special brand cornflakes.
Yeah.
But I've grown up and I don't even like cornflakes anymore.
I don't.
You see, I don't do cornflakes. Weetabix, praise the Lord.
No, I don't know Weetabix.
No Weetabix. So you don't do cereals?
I'll have probably bran flakes.
No, you see, I haven't got the palate for that one. I need to have something that I can enjoy. If it's not porridge or Weetabix or muesli.
Oh, no.
That's no muesli.
No. Just brown flakes if it's going to be cereal.
Like I'm going to have to come down to you guys and show you some serious cereals.
Or a fry-up for breakfast.
Yeah, I'm a fake Rasta. I don't do pork brand, unfortunately. So if you got any sponsorships out there for non-pork products, please give us a shout. Okay, so we've shown that we've both been in relationships for a good number of times, okay? Yeah. What would be one of your areas where you say we are strong in this? So I know for me and Sam, we're very good occasionally, at conflict. Yeah. So when people say at your wedding day, don't let the sun go down and your anger. I sometimes sleep better sometimes if we're not talking to each other, because I get to reflect. That's just me being honest. Yeah. But one of the things is it doesn't go on for too long. So one of us would be like, right, time to snap out of it now. Let's discuss it and see what's going on with that one. Whereas I know some couples out there, they probably just kind of cover over it and just continue to grow and be like, we haven't dealt with it, but we'll come back to it at some point. So what's one of your strong areas?
I think communication as well, like conflict.
Key.
I do think that we're quite good. It took a while.
Yeah.
Because if there was ever an issue, I would say to him, look, we need to talk. And then I kind of thought, I can't keep saying we need to talk. Let me stop and see if he does it.
Yeah.
And then he kind of mirrored me. So he'll be like, look, I noticed you've not talked to me for 3 days. Or just, the bare minimum, we need to talk. Whereas it used to be me.
Yeah.
So I'd say we're both very good at communication.
That's good. I think when women say to men, we need to talk, that's a very scary sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when my wife was like, oh, we need to talk later. Like, oh, we don't. We really don't, because it flows away anything like, it's almost like a worry for guys. It's like, okay, what's she going to bring up now? Yeah. Like, what's the issue now? Whereas we had to kind of have conversations where I said, when you're addressing an issue, bring it a bit lighter to me. So if you said to me, you know what, can we talk later about finances? Give me that prep time. Yeah. Because finances area I hate talking about. You can have all the money in the world and still not have enough money for certain things. Yeah. So it's very much of a, we need to talk about finances later. Yeah. Be specific. Okay, about this. That's fine. That's cool. It gives me preparation to think about what it is, not make up anything, but be like, okay, I understand where we're going. Yeah. But if she says, oh, we need to talk later about some money stuff, then I'd be like, oh, he's trying to take more money. What we buying now? Like, is it a new sofa or getting rid of the dog? What we doing?
A new dress.
Yeah.
Shoes,
so
hat, bag.
Yeah. So there's always that. So if you guys are listening out there and that's an issue, yes, man, discuss things, but be clear about where you're going, because I think there's a lot of couples out there that just throw conversations in and not aware of where to go with it. Another conversation then, which we're going to discuss with another group as well, but let me touch on this one. So being married for 6 months, after 6 months, do you believe in the one? Now, I've mentioned it before on shows before, and I'm quite controversial, you know me already. And people are like, do you believe that there's the one? And I've always said, I don't believe that there is the one, like the soulmate thing that so much people try to push on. And people ask, why do you believe that? And I'm like, because again, relationships is something you work at. I think there's the one that God puts before you. Yeah. Okay, but I'm not going to say there's the one who, let me explain myself before I get myself wrong. There isn't the one who you make up and say, this is the one I want. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. Sure. So
you're saying that God has just put one person in his life for you. That's it.
Yeah, I don't believe that's true.
You don't believe that's true?
I believe there's the one that God presents to you and says, I think this is the one who will do well with you. So for instance, I believe Sam is my and God's agreement choice. Can I say that?
I think, me personally, as life goes on and things happen, you change. Yes. So I'm not saying God changes. God just knows what's best for you. Yeah. And we got free will. So sometimes we can miss out on the person that God has set aside for us. But that doesn't mean you're going to stay single for the rest of your life.
No, this is true.
And that doesn't mean that poor person has to sit and wait for you to sort yourself out. God will bless them with someone else while you're going through whatever you're going through.
No, this is true. And actually, you brought something up to me actually that I wanted to talk on as well. So there's a lot of women in church who are single. Did you approach Lloyd, or did Lloyd approach you?
Can I say?
Of course you can.
Well, I was at work and I said to my friend that I like this person, and because I worked in a dental surgery at the time, and he'd had an appointment the following day at the dental surgery. So she'd bumped into him and said, oh, the nurse at the surgery likes you.
Wow, you see, so you got just careful with friends, you know. No, but it worked in your favour though.
Yeah, wow. She then went and told him that I've got 5 kids. I'm thinking, why would you do that? Why would you? So I thought she ruined everything for me, because I would have just one child at a time. 1 week, I've got 1 child. Next week, 2. And we, 6 weeks later, 5 weeks later, I've got 5 kids. So I took my time and introduced them. But she said, yeah, she likes you. She's got 5 kids. He came in the next day and, came up to me and said, I heard you like me.
Wow, the rest is history.
Yeah. But then the dentist called him in, so I kind of didn't really get to say anything back. So I wrote my phone number down and gave it to my friend. And said, when he comes out, give him my phone number.
Old school, because nowadays people are giving out Snapchat numbers now.
Nah.
They all their Facebook numbers, like you ain't got no real number. But okay, and the reason I'm asking that because there's a lot of women out there, like I said, who are single and men. And there seems to be this deadlock. I was speaking to someone about a month ago, and he was saying it's hard to approach, particularly a Christian woman, because the makeup is a bit too, not the makeup, not the physical makeup, the makeup of themselves. So the persona of that woman is high maintenance. And straight away I got it. So there's some girls, women at church, who are driving big cars, which is fine. You know, you work hard to have that stuff, but they look very expensive. So a guy might be thinking, I can't approach you because you're expecting some Morris Chestnut kind of guy or some guy on some 55k salary a year and have this everything all together. And I'm a guy who's okay, but I don't think we're on the level because of the look. Yeah. And so there's a lot of women out there saying, I'm ready to get married, you know, I'm getting older, but the guys ain't doing nothing. They're not doing nothing for me. They're not approaching. I see them there, but they're not going on with nothing. Yeah. So what's your views on that one?
I think you're kind of right. There is some girls, women with this checklist, they've got to do this, they've got to have that, got to have that. And the men can sense it. But as life goes on and these women grow up and become more mature and they start to listening to what's, you know, God, what are you saying is best for me? Yeah. Then I think the men should step in at that point and, you know, ask the girl.
Do you still think then that it's a responsibility for the guy to ask the woman, or are we at a time now in life where it can be open for each other to do that, or do you think it's still a man's role to? I
think the guy should still ask. I think the guy should still pursue.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, but the girl can like make it known, you know, like I like it.
I don't know.
But he should pursue. You don't think so?
I don't know. I feel like we're at a place now where, because there's so much things changing now. Yeah. I think it's fair where, you know, I still think the man needs to have a role, but I don't think there's nothing wrong with a lady saying, you know what, let's go out for a coffee.
Well, coffee's not a date though, is it? Well, that could be seen as friends.
But then again,
proper dating, I think the man should like, look, do you want to go on a date? I think the man should say that.
But what is a date nowadays? And because I mean, like, I know what date for me and my wife is obviously going out for a meal or a drink or just chilling. Yeah. Where nowadays, a lot of people go out on link ups. Yeah. And there's the friends. Yeah. But it's never used the word date. Yeah. So how would you perceive a date to be for some people nowadays then?
So I think the younger ones are saying just a link up. It's once they know that, okay, this is serious, then they start to say, yeah, we're dating. But until then, they could go to any restaurant or whatever, coffee, and they'd still say we're just linking up. Whereas I see it as the dating.
But I think we're a bit more older school then when it comes to that stuff. Because I mean, like, when I've spoken to some of these young guys, and they're like you said, oh, just linking. Yeah. Okay, well, when does linking become dating? But then again, maybe because as churches, we have that very high expectation on people where we're like, okay, if you're dating, are you talking about marriage? Yeah. How seriously you guys are, you know, make sure the bedroom door's open. Yeah. You know, we to become our parents and you're like, okay, cool, that shirt, that skirt's a bit too short, or why is your t-shirt so tight? You're like, you know, you have all these questions. So I think that, like I said, that for the ladies out there and the guys out there who are pursuing, what would be one of your top tips then for a lady to let a guy know, I'm available?
Smile.
Oh, they always smile though, man.
Smile. Just ask questions about the person. Okay. I think that's so it's just not surface conversation. Yeah. Just go a little bit deeper, and then the guy will be like, oh, people don't normally ask me those things. She must be interested.
True.
That's what I think.
True. I think, yeah, okay, I hear that. And I think for me, I would say to some guys then, know yourself first, for one, because there's some guys out there who particularly enjoy the idea of marriage. So I've spoken to some guys who are like, I'm ready to get married. And when you ask them why, they can't give you an answer back. Yeah. Like, you're ready to get married? Yeah, okay. Why? Yeah. Like, why? Because you think that you're going to be together all the time. It's sex all the time. It's always going to be smiles and happiness. Like, what do you bring to the table? Yeah. And then I also say, and this is controversial because we are a black radio show, is why is it her and why does it have to be that nationality?
What do you mean?
So there's some guys out there says it has to be a black woman.
Oh.
And it's like, okay, well, why? Now, this is going to cause some controversial.
Yeah.
I'm not saying not to, but
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, why does it have to be her? Because some guys are saying, like, she has to be this black woman and strong African woman with principles and this, that, and the other. But they don't carry none of that themselves. I'm talking more specifically about one person that I knew. He was very, very adamant of the type of woman she needed to be.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't think she existed.
Yeah.
But I don't think that she did exist. He was ready for that type of lady.
Okay.
And on the Church and Banter show that we did, we have a plug there for one of our shows. We talked about the look.
Yeah.
This is so controversial now. We might have to go to a track. Do you know what I mean when I say the look?
Do you mean long hair, light skin?
No. So you know the look where
That's what boys normally.
So I don't know. Tell me if you believe in this one then. So sometimes there's a look where you've got a friend and you're like, I know that you're going to end up with another person from another culture. So you're like, oh, bro, I know that you're attracted to white women. So, so you're going to be with a white lady.
Yeah.
Nah. I love my black women.
Yeah.
You're not at that place. And so when I say there's the look, and it's not a disrespectful thing. It's just the look of, I know that person will go down that direction.
Okay. And have you been right so far when you've said that or thought that?
I've been right once, shockingly wrong with somebody else. So there's a friend of mine, and he wouldn't mind me saying this as well, a white guy. We were very much like, because he talks patois and very into the Afro-Caribbean culture. And we were like, yeah, his wife is going to be black, man.
Yeah.
Because he loves fried like dumpling and all that stuff. And then he married a lady who was white, and we were like,
shocked.
Did not see that coming. But he still loves his Caribbean food and still loves the culture. But we were very much like, I'm shocked. Not in a bad way, but surprised.
I think people have got a preference and they've got this idea in their head, but that doesn't mean. I think when they meet the one, they'll know. Do you think men know when they meet the one straight away?
Oh, you see.
Because I do, I think.
You think...
just my opinion.
Do they know when they meet the one?
Yeah. Most men, especially of a maturer age, stop messing about. They're not messing about anymore.
Yeah.
When they meet the one, they know. That's what I believe.
I don't know. You got me stumped now. Because I'm so conflicted on that conversation. Like, do I think... No, I don't. I don't think all guys know who the one is.
The reason why I do, because you find that they're engaged in a marriage, married quite quickly. Yeah. And the guy is confident. When you're talking to them, no, this is my wife. Yeah. So when we say mature, what age are we talking at? Sometimes it's not an age. Do you reckon? It's just, there's something about that person that's just mature. Okay, so there's the attitude and do you think then that that's also part of their church upbringing or just their upbringing as well? Possibly upbringing. Yeah. Possibly upbringing. But I'm just comparing it to some guys that've been dating for years and years and years and years and years. Yeah. And this poor woman hasn't even seen an engagement ring. Yeah. And then they break up with that person and the next week they're engaged to somebody else because as soon as they met that person, that is my wife. I know that's my wife. Yeah. That's what I mean. And that's cruel. That's kind of hard. But it happens. It happens quite a lot, yeah. Yeah. And I think from a guy's perspective, I think that happens because I think sometimes the lady allows it. So I know for some people where a guy's been with a lady for some time and she's made reference to, I want to get married. And he's like, yeah. And then she's kind of put that kind of foot down as, listen, I'm not your trophy girlfriend. Mm-hmm. I'm ready to be a wife. If you're not ready to commit to being with me on that level, then we need to separate. Yeah. And that's often when you get some people who would then kind of step up and say, actually, now I'm gonna get married, which I think is great. I also think it's dangerous because then if you're getting married on the principles of her ultimatum, then it's kind of that Adam and Eve situation. If it doesn't work, well, she wanted to get married. Yeah. And it's got to be ownership of both. Yeah. And that's what I would say, particularly for those out there. Interestingly for me, I think God never said to me about my wife, she's the one. But he came with, don't be expecting this. So I've said it before on other shows before. It was like, don't be getting married because you think it's going to be married because you're going to be sexual all the time and you're going to have this all the time. Yeah. Like, you need to marry her for the person she is. Yes. And that's what I had. I never had like bells and whistles and said like, here she is, this is the lady. I just had that kind of, this is the lady who you're choosing to be with, but don't be expecting this. This should not be the reason or the
foundation
Yeah.
of your marriage.
Yeah.
And that's something I've always held of our relationship, and it's always helped me to grow.
Have you ever had a no when you've dated somebody?
I've had red flags.
Okay.
Yeah. I've had some big red flags. Interesting enough, the red flags are the ones where I thought I was going to get married.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not putting my business out there, though. Music track.
Share.
No, joking.
Share.
No, there was red flags in relationships where you're trying to, that I call it a numb prayer.
Yeah.
Where you're like, God, this is going to be the one for me, and it feels weird. I don't know how to explain it. The prayer is just a bit like it's hitting the glass ceiling, but you're like, yeah, you're asking for something you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
It's like a 14-year-old asking for a Bugatti, like a real fast car.
Yeah.
And you're like, one, you're not ready for it, and two, it's out your price bracket, and it isn't for you. So you're asking for something that is not beyond you, but not isn't for you. Mm-hmm. And I've been in relationships where I've kind of thought, yeah, Lord, this is going to be the one.
Yeah.
And then when it's crashed, you're like, oh.
But you said you saw the red flags. Did you see the red flags before it crashed?
Yeah. But you know what, though? And I think, again, sometimes we see red flags, but we ignore them because we're getting something from it. So we're like, yeah, there's warning signs, and yeah, I shouldn't be here. But the moment of who I am, I feel good. That person makes me feel good. Yeah. So it's about how you feel, not about the relationship. Mm-hmm. Although when you get older, when you get more mature in your relationship, you realize it's not about you, it's about serving each other. Yeah. But in the relationship time, I was like, it makes me feel good. Yeah. Because the compliments I was getting, like, yo, is that your girl? Yo, yo. So I was like, yeah, trophy girl. Yeah. And then you're like, actually, what was I doing? Yeah. Like, this is crazy.
And you both end up getting hurt, or one gets hurt.
Yeah, well, you both end up getting hurt. Well, yeah, both are getting hurt. Yeah. But I think for me, I've always said I learned something great from it that I could then bring to my current relationship with Sam that helps us to blossom and grow even better.
Yeah. The reason why I asked you that, because you said that you didn't necessarily get this is the one.
Yeah.
But what you didn't get with Sam is any red flags. So maybe that's how you know she's the one.
Oh, controversial. I like that one. Okay. We're going to go to a track now, and then we're coming back on that one because I do like that one. Okay. You got me good there, Rose.
Okay.
Oops. I'm playing the track, and it's not coming through. There we are. Oops. That's too loud.
Yeah, look. If I couldn't see, I'd be blind. But if I didn't speak what I seen, then I would still be blind. So what's the difference? Sight wouldn't be worth having. I be combing the earth asking, when on God's earth happen? Morality's a thing of the past. Everybody wanna live for the moment, but the moment won't last. We want the fame, fortune, and power fast, but it's not a lot of sin in the hourglass. Life is too short for me to shortchange you, but you say your life is too short for a change. But that don't change the fact that you need it. Truth is truth even if you choose not to believe it. So what else am I to do when I see this world dying and I know the answer is Jesus? And everybody just wanna be free, but nobody wants to walk in freedom. But it's just me on my soapbox. It's just me on my soapbox. I guess it's just me on my soapbox. It's just me on my soapbox. Yeah. There's so much evil in the world today.
Okay, that was R. Swift and Show Baraka, actually. Soapbox. I love this song. How do you feel about this song?
It's alright.
What? This.
I'm old school.
This is old school. This was done 2008.
Oh, older.
Really? Oh, I'm gonna have to give Rose some more music. Whining's not even singing anymore. I think the only whinings now is like the people that act in it. Oh, you see, guys. You see, I thought I've got past it, but now we're gonna have to educate with some more songs.
Okay.
So, guys, if you're just tuning in, you're late. No, I'm joking. We have come towards the end. Yes, that's it. We're both sitting down here like. Look at the time, we have gone well over. But guys, if you're sitting down there, give Rose a round of applause. Didn't she do amazing? See, and this isn't your final time, is it?
Okay,
you see, we've still got some more convincing to do. Guys, this has been 7 p.m. sharp with your guy Jermaine and Rose. Rose is a regular feature. She keeps rolling her eyes, but she is close up on her now. Thank you.
I'll be back.
Guys, we're going to come back because I think we need to do some more stuff on for single people, how to find the one, how to approach, because I think that's a very important one. And also that we didn't touch on is how do you hear God in this one as well, to say that's the person, because if you're very anxious and overexcited and really want somebody, it's easy to kind of mishear God and go with red flags and kind of get yourself in relationships where you shouldn't be with, and then kind of sit down and say, this is kind of God's fault. Yeah. So that's why you have to come back. Okay. We'll do it next week. Guys, have a great evening and take care. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Hi, and thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, you like, and you comment, and make sure that you're sharing the videos and watching so much more. We have loads of content for you. I hope you enjoy. See you soon.